What? This is awesome. This may look like another ordinary gimbal, but it's not. It's completely powered off magnets. No batteries to charge and no little technical issues that we all run into with gimbals. So this could be really interesting. Also, not to mention less expensive than gimbals. Also, having nice smooth gliding footage makes your footage look so nice. No matter what it is, you can film a rock and just glide around it. It looks so good. And when it comes to flying small cameras, we're all familiar with stuff like this. This is kind of like a glide cam. They're nice and inexpensive and compact, very easy to travel with. And once you get good at it, you can get really cool footage. Downside is you have to get really good at it. It definitely takes some serious practice to get good at it, because you see a whole lot of people with like wavy footage like this where it may look smooth, but you feel like you're on a rocking boat. Obviously, it's all mechanical, so no batteries you have to charge or anything like that. You can put some pretty heavy cameras on this thing, and you also don't have to worry about the shape of the camera, because you don't have to worry about it kind of bumping into little motors and arms. So these are really awesome for the price, but remember, they take work. Don't expect to just be able to pick one up and then just start shooting awesome footage with it right away. It takes time. And of course, we're all familiar with gimbals, and there's a ton out there. These come in different shapes and sizes, so no matter what kind of camera you have, there's probably a gimbal that will work well with it. But the downside of gimbals are that they're still pretty expensive and they're electronic, so obviously managing their batteries, and you have to make sure that the motors are calibrated depending on what kind of camera setup you have, and they can be a little bit of a headache. So this kind of comes in at the middle, where it's not as expensive as a gimbal. You don't have to worry about the electronic components of it, and at the same time, it's very easy to use and balance. And we're gonna take this outside in a minute and give it a real world test, but so far it's pretty awesome. Now, operating it feels very similar to a gimbal. Remember how I was talking about how the glide cam, you get this kind of motion that you don't really want? Well, this has a little adjustable dampener, which you can either tighten or loosen to just limit some of that. Light inputs for it to go up and down. It feels pretty comfortable and intuitive. Even if you've never used anything like this before, I feel like you could get pretty comfortable within like 15 minutes of playing with it. And you can see there's a lot of pieces that are 3D printed. They said they're just 3D printing these so they could keep all the manufacturing in-house, and they said these are all high strength plastic. The biggest downside I'm seeing right now is the payload capacity. Right now it's about 3.5 pounds. They may be releasing ones later down the line with more strength, but I got a 16 to 35 f2.8 with the EOS R right now. So definitely on the higher end of DSLRs and mirrorless cameras, but let's go take it out and see how it does. How the hell? Oh my god. We just tied down Chicky over there for a second so we could get this shot. She just came running up to us and she just chewed through her leash. We were like 10 feet away. You couldn't just wait. Look at this. She just chewed straight through this and we were just right over there. She must have thought we were leaving her. We would never leave you, Chicky. 60p slow down to 24, which is about 40% speed. Looks really nice all the time. It's kind of like a cheat on getting extra smooth footage. But let's see what it looks like if I just shoot it real time. So I'm dropping the camera back down to 24 frames per second and we're gonna film some dogs. That is one downside, is that you can't adjust how sensitive this thing is. On a gimbal, you can always put it on sport mode or bump up that sensitivity, make it nice and quick. This one's at a pretty general, nice, smooth speed, but you can't speed it up if you need to speed it up more. Okay guys, you guys ready to go home? Let me put your leash on you. Oh wait, you ate it. That's right, damn it. When we're recording in real time, it can be a little bit rough around the edges, and it could be because we're just not super experienced with this thing yet. This is just our third time playing with it. So I feel like with a little bit of practice, you can perfect that ninja walk a little bit and get it super smooth. One downside of this thing is it's a little bit big and doesn't really fold without some tools, so I don't really know where to put it. I could put it by my feet, but I feel like I'm gonna kick it over, so I'm just gonna leave it right here on the bar. The guys over at Steadycross said it can handle up to a camera up to 3.5 pounds, but it performs a little bit better with a slightly lighter camera. Maybe we could try this Canon M50 with this wide angle lens. Let's give this a shot. The thing is that even if the footage is a little bit shaky, it's not fast jittery movement, so a lot of that can be cleaned out with even a simple thing as warp stabilizer. But it's kind of like the same thing with gimbals too, you know? A lot of times when you put a gimbal at 60p, it looks really nice and creamy smooth, but then once you go to 24 frames per second, you just see a little bit of those bumps. Now, after a full day of training on this camera, let's see how smooth Sam can do some running shots. Run! There's Sam running. Can he keep up? All right, so after a full day of playing with this thing, let's talk about some pros and cons. One of the things that's really appealing about this is the ease of use of this thing. And what I mean by that is it's easy to operate and it's also easy to set up. Like these have quite a bit of a learning curve and these are easy to use once you set it up, but the setup can be a little bit tricky. First, you have to balance it and then you have to calibrate the motor and then you have to dial in all your settings. You just have to kind of know your way around a gimbal. This, you watch a 5-minute video on how to balance it. It's very straightforward and once it's set up, it's very, very easy to use. Sam used it for the first time and within a few minutes he was pretty comfortable with it.
It takes like a little practice and a little getting used to, but I mean, I was just using it for 5 minutes and I already kind of got the hang of it.
The downside is that with our experience, we still had a little bit of kind of like bumpiness. It wasn't perfectly smooth. And I feel like that's just because we're still new at operating this thing. Once we get good at it, I feel like you can get it to feel super smooth. And until you get that good at it, you could always just warp stabilize and clean everything out. Another thing, I love the concept that it's a magnetic gimbal. I mean, how cool is that? This is still a new company and for their first product rolling out this new technology, I think it's really awesome. And I do feel like it's good enough now to where I would recommend it to certain people, but I'm personally more excited about V2, V3. Maybe they start using stronger magnets, maybe throw on a bigger camera, maybe be able to adjust the strength of the magnet. I don't know, but it's cool. Does it replace the gimbal? I don't really think so. I still have this love-hate relationships with gimbals. You get like vibrations, you get weird noises sometimes it just doesn't want to balance correctly for some weird reason. If you've shot a lot with a gimbal, you know what I'm talking about. There comes a point in every gimbal shooter's life where they're just like, I want to break this thing. But I do think it might replace a lot of these things for smaller cameras. On Indiegogo right now, while supplies last, it's $250, but I'd be curious what the street price is going to be after it goes into production, because right now it says $399 on the website. $399 does start to enter that kind of higher price point items. Then all of a sudden Steadycross is going to have a lot more competition in the gimbal world and all that. But right now at $250, pretty cool and capable for what it could do. One other concern of this current model is kind of the size of it. It's not super streamlined to make it easy for transport, although they said we can take it apart by just loosening a few screws. Let me try that. Oh, there we go. It definitely gets a little bit easier to pack for travel. It's not like as easy as just like pulling a lever and then collapsing it. So I don't know, maybe this would be something we would see more easily done in version 2. But overall, I just really appreciate the new technology and I love it when companies innovate with something new opposed to just copying what every other company is doing. And this magnetic gimbal, it's definitely pretty cool. And I feel like there is still some room for improvement, but for such a young company, it's pretty freaking cool what they're doing here. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be keeping a close eye on what this company does next, because I would really love to see this technology just come to full fruition. What is the word I'm trying to say? Fruition. I don't think it'd be a bad buy, especially if you're looking for something that's really easy to use. You're using a lighter weight camera like a mirrorless A7 III or an EOS R M50. You don't want to worry about charging your batteries for it or whatever, and it's just kind of always ready. Good deal. Let's read some comments. Top comment was from K-Soul. I got scared when M50 Potato Jet and EOS R Potato Jet got into a heated argument. Hope you guys are able to resolve things and work together in the future. I wouldn't count on it. They have a pretty bad history together. Come say that to my face, you little bitch. You're lucky that there's ADD right here completely. Can we now skip the kid from Up and just call you Potato Wet? Oh God, the worst part of that shot was actually that I had to go back into my Jeep, got my Jeep seat all wet, and I went back in the house, forgot about that for the next few days, and it just smelled like ugh. By the way, care with the drain water. You could get leptospirosis. Oh, that's how you spell that word. Persons could get the disease by swimming or wading in fresh, unchlorinated water contaminated by animal urine. Oh, fucking great. Good thing I did like 3 takes of that.